So at the end of the last video, I told you about the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner and how he's going to be looking into the 5 million that Farage received from a Thailand-based crypto billionaire before he became an MP. So if you missed that, there is a link in the description. Because this video isn't about the money, it's about what happened last Sunday when Nigel Farage was booked to appear on the biggest pre-election politics programme on British television and decided he had somewhere better to be.
To tell politicians what we think at the ballot box. Elections that could decide the Prime Minister's fate. But it's 2026, so there are so many parties after your vote. 6 of them are here today. Not, however, Nigel Farage, who, as we told you last week, was fixed to be here. His team told us he'd changed his mind.
The Guardian broke the 5 million story on April 29th. By the time Farage's team called Laura Kuenssberg's producers to cancel, 4 days had passed. 4 days of Standard Commissioner referrals, of Labour and the Conservatives both saying that he had broken Commons rules, of journalists sharpening questions he very clearly did not want to answer. He had every one of those questions coming on a Sunday morning in front of a few million people. And so he went to Essex instead.
I'm in Essex today, and this is the Bell Hotel in Epping. Now, you might remember these scenes being on national news last year. Anyone that comes illegally into Britain on a boat or in the back of a lorry will be detained and deported. But that's going to mean having to detain quite a lot of people who are here already. They should not be free to walk the streets. The policy is very simple. You vote for a Reform MP, you will not have a detention facility in your constituency. But if you vote Green, or those that support open borders in the world, that's where the detention centres are going to be. Equally, I could say the same of Labour and the Conservatives, because they've done nothing to stop it. And what you'll get with this policy, you'll get what you vote for.
We're also going to see from Zia Youssef, Reform's Home Affairs spokesperson, although if you ask Zia, he'll probably tell you that he's the Shadow Home Secretary. He isn't. Shadow ministers are appointed in opposition parties by leaders who have enough MPs to form a shadow cabinet. Reform have 8, 9, I can't remember now. Zia Youssef, who's also never won an election, joined Reform or bought his way into the party with, a couple of years ago, and now is announcing national detention policy from street corners, which is a career trajectory that tells you quite a bit about the state of the party.
This is Zach Polanski. Put simply,
AKA
if you vote in a
the
Reform
breast
Council
whisperer.
or a
The
Reform
team said,
MP, we
"Can you make my breast
guarantee
bigger to hit
you
the
will not
therapy?" And you
have a
said,
migrant
yes.
detention centre.
Mind over
You.
memory is
However,
just
if you
one
vote
of Zach's
Green,
many
there's a very
bad
good
ideas
chance
that you will.
As illegal
This way,
migrants
everyone
continue to
gets
turn up
what
on
they
our
vote
shores,
for.
Zach and
Visit
his vote Green
say
get
they want
illegal
Britain to have
no
Britain
borders
is broken.
at all.
Now it's clear
The
that the
policy, a
failed
Reform
Uni
government
Party
will
era
build
is
detention
over,
centres
and there
for
is
at
a
least
battle for the
24,000
soul of our
people at a
country
time.
between
In
Reform
order to deport
and
all
Green.
illegal migrants
That's why
in Britain,
today
we're
we
going to
announce
need
an
to
important
detain
new policy.
tens of thousands at a time. Migrants will not be able to leave these detention centres, and each will be held there for a couple of weeks before being deported.
And here's the bit they really wanted you to hear. If your constituency votes Reform, you won't get one near you. If your area votes Green, they go to the top of the list. They've already picked their target. Brighton got a name check while he was standing right there in Brighton.
So here's our promise. A Reform government will not put any migrant detention centres in any constituency with a Reform MP. We will not put them where Reform controls the council. And of the remaining areas, we will prioritise Green parliamentary constituencies and Green-controlled councils to put those migrant detention centres. That means areas like right here in Brighton. Put simply, if you vote in a Reform Council or a Reform MP, we guarantee you will not have a migrant detention centre near you. However, if you vote Green, there's a very good chance that you will. This way, everyone gets what they vote for.
Now, it's best to be clear about what this actually is, because it's easy to engage with it as though it's a real planning announcement. There's no sites identified, there's no capacity assessment, there's no land, there's no Home Office agreement, no contracts with private operators, and no planning permission. None of that exists, because Reform have 8 MPs and control of a handful of councils, and their power to cite detention centres has never been anywhere near Nigel Farage. He simply cannot do this. The only criteria in this entire policy for where a detention centre goes is how your constituency voted. Vote the wrong way and you'll get punished. That is what they're telling you. That is their offer. Here's what makes it more interesting rather than just a bad faith stunt. They built a proper website for it. Postcode lookup, MRP polling data sourced from More in Common and JL Partners, a methodology section, a draft bill as a PDF. Someone commissioned that before the Sunday morning. The data in it was gathered in March and April. This was not thrown together because Farage fancied a day out in Essex. The decision to skip the interview and launch this instead was made way in advance, and somebody spent a lot of money on it. Christopher Harburn, probably. What Section 115 of the Representation of the People Act says about using threats to influence votes is something I would really like to hear what the Electoral Commission's view on. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not going to tell you that this is illegal. That's not a determination I can make. But the structure of the promise is vote against us and we will direct harm towards your area deliberately as a matter of policy. Somebody really should be asking that question. The man who built his entire political identity on saying what others won't, on facing the establishment head on, is being the voice that cuts through where everywhere else hides. That man looked at a Sunday morning television appearance and decided a hotel car park in Epping was the better option. And the thing he chose to do instead was announce a punishment for voters who backed the wrong party, backed by a website he had built in advance, with a spokesman who gives himself the title that he hasn't earned, promising consequences he has no mechanism to deliver. This is Reform's closing pitch. Elections are on Thursday, and he's really counting on the gullible to believe that he has the power to do this.